Hello and welcome to Clay Creators. Today we are working on our Key Stage 2 Rudolph. It looks something like this. We'll also make a hole in there, ready to be able to add to the Christmas tree if that's what you want to go with. Okay, so like I say, Key Stage 2, so we're going to need our scales, our creator cards and tools, our pots of clay, and if possible an airtight container. Anything with a seal or a lid to help keep the clay fresh. You may use it, you may not. Again, with this being a little bit of a smaller build, a quicker build, you may not need to, but obviously if you are pausing the video or waiting or anything, it would be good to keep it in there. Okay, so we're going to get started. We will start by mixing the main brown, and from that we'll also then use some of that to make the darker brown and the tan as well. So we're going to get started with the mix. We will need our scales. So on and check they're at 0 and on the grams unit. And we will start off with our yellow clay, and we're going to need 5.00 grams, so 500 of yellow. And then we'll also need some red and some blue. Okay, 500. Red, we are going to go for 1.50. Okay, and finally the blue. And sorry, blue is 1 gram, so 1.00. Still too much. Okay. All clay away then. Lids on, keep that nice and fresh, and give those 3 measurements a good mix through. So this is our main brown that we'll use for the head. We'll have a little spare in here that we can then use to make the other colours as well. So the first step we're going to do, once you have mixed this all through nicely, got rid of all the lines, got rid of any of the mixed colours there, make sure they're all gone through and it's fully mixed through, we're going to take some of this clay for the head, or the main bulk of it, and that's going to be measured out at 5 grams. So from here, take 5 grams. Okay. Any spare clay, again, if you're going to be working quickly, you could leave it out, but I'm going to put this into my airtight container. It's a warm day, so it could dry out quicker. So into my airtight container, and this 5 for the head, if you could get it into the starting position, so we need a nice smooth round ball, so give it a little stretch, give it a roll. You may want to use your hands, you may want to use a work surface in front of you, whichever works best for you. So from this starting position, once you have a nice smooth round ball, we're going to change shape slightly and then we're going to mold it. So we're going to try and make it flat, not too flat that it falls and droops over, but we're going to make it nice and flat, and then decorate on the top. So to get this kind of egg kind of shape, all we're going to do from a nice round ball, we're going to just, instead of pressing right in the middle, we're going to press towards one end slightly. Just give it a little roll at one end. So we start to get this shape. Just a gentle roll, just a little bit, not too much, and you end up with more of an egg kind of shape, okay? Once we've got that, we're then going to press down. So we want to try and get it into a good depth or thickness, okay? So just gentle, try not to change the actual shape of it. If you press gently, you can turn it over, use the workstation or the work surface to give you that nice flat smooth edge. Try not to change the shape too much. So I'm gently pressing, even all the way along. If you do change it slightly, you can obviously pinch the edges just to bring it back to the same shape, and continue to press and flatten until you are happy. So we're looking at that kind of depth, and that shape for the time being. Okay. So again, you may want to change this later on. Once you've kind of picked it up and moved it around a bit, you may need to address that again. Okay, so the head is done. We're going to now mix the tan colour that will go kind of on the snout and on in the ears. Okay, so you're going to need your scales on again. We're going to take some of the other brown, so that first brown that we've mixed, and we're going to take 0.50 of this. So 0.50. And we're going to add that to 0.80 of yellow. Okay, so 0.80 again. Okay. And give those two a mix together, okay? Same process again, all the way, mix all the way through, get rid of any traces of each colour, and mix that all the way through. So like I say, this is going to be a little bit of the snout and the little bits in the ear, so snout and ear. So the first measurement we're going to do that snout part, okay? And the snout is measured out at 1 gram. So once you've fully mixed this through into a nice tan beige colour, measure out 1 gram. Okay, the rest we will use shortly, so I'm going to just put that back into the airtight container for the time being. Okay, and the same process that we did before, we're going to get this into that starting position, give it a stretch, get rid of any lines, roll it into a nice smooth ball. Okay, this time from that ball all we're going to do is press down and flatten it. Now we're going to want that to kind of sit nice and even in the larger bit at the bottom of this. Okay, so we're going to press down and just kind of make it into a nice, even, smooth, flat disc. So again, flip it over, use the workstation to give you that nice smooth surface. Now you want it kind of flat, but you don't want it to be completely flat. You want it to stick up a little bit as it's sat on top. So if I place this on my creator card, I'm just about done. I'm going to press down a little bit more. If you use that as a guide, that's the 3 centimeter circle. Okay, so it fits nicely around the 3 centimeter circle. Okay, so once you kind of get to there, you may want to carry on pressing a little bit if you want. I'm pretty happy with that. You then take it and place it nice and evenly at the bottom. So you've got the same amount of the dark brown showing at the bottom and around the sides. So you try and get it nice and in the middle, and then give it a gentle press down. So you should have something like that. Okay, now where the nose is going to go, just at the very top here, I'm going to press down just a little bit, just to kind of dent it. It'll help the nose stick in. So if I can just show you that, just where you can't really quite tell. So just at this very top bit where the nose is going to sit, because the nose, if I bring in the old one, sits right on the join. So I've just pressed the tan part down very slightly. Not essential, but it will just help the nose sit in properly. Okay, so we should have this situation now. And we're going to do the ears, which are in 2 parts. We've got the dark brown and then the tan that goes on top of that. So for the dark brown, we're going to measure out 2 0.20s. So 020. I'm going to do that twice. Okay, 1 and 2. And with the tan, we're going to use our creator card. Now when you use your creator card, you're meant to use a ball measurement. Okay, so those centimeter circles, it's a ball that fits within it. You don't squish it down. So I'm going to take a tiny pinch off because we're only going to be using that 0.5 measurement. So that's the smallest circle. So a tiny pinch of clay that will fit roughly inside that 0.5. You should still be able to see the outline of the circle. So it's only going to be a tiny little pinch. So 2 tiny little pinches. And then again, a little spare clay for later on. Okay, so onto the darker brown. Give it a little stretch, get rid of any lines and lumps. So into that starter position of a nice smooth round ball for them both. And all we're going to do with these is roll them slightly into a little sausage. So on them both. And then press them down flat again. So like we have done before, just give them a gentle press down. Nice and even again. Don't make them too flat. Try and keep them nice and level all the way along. Like so. So again, thickness, and then that sort of shape. And then for the decoration, so if I bring the other one up, we're going to just do a little bit of tan that fits in, and then we'll place it on the top. So same process with the little ones. Roll it into a little sausage and press down, and then place it inside the ear. You should now have. You then place those bits into, or against, sorry, against the head. Oops. Part way up, just give it a gentle press against. Try not to change the shape too much, and they should nicely stick. So we now have this. Time to put his nose on. Make him look a little bit more like Rudolph. So, big red nose. We are going to use our red and we're going to measure out our nose at 1 centimeter. So we are going back onto the creator card. And this time we're going up to that 1 centimeter circle. So pinch a little off. And remember, it's got to be a ball that fits within, and you still need to see the outline of that centimeter circle. So if you need to, make sure that's a nice round ball. So give it a good stretch if need be, and then roll it out into a nice smooth ball. And once you've got that, place it in that little dent at the top that we kind of did. Just give it a little press against, like so. Okay, I'm going to get his eyes, put his eyes on there, and then finally we'll work on the antlers. Okay, so the eyes don't need to be very big at all. We're going to use white and then a tiny pinch of black. So with the white, all we're going to need, if you want to use a guide, you could just pinch a little off if you want, but you want to try and get them about the same size, okay? So to start off, if you take a pinch of white and make sure it fits inside that 0.5 centimeter marker again on the creator card. So tiny pinch, roll it into a ball, and it fits, okay? So just the once, and then what we're going to do, we're going to take a tool and we're going to cut that. You don't necessarily have to use a tool, you can just cut or split this in half using your hand. But you want these two little white balls to be pretty much the same size, and they'll be your eyes. Okay, if you've got them about right, give them a little press down, flatten them out, just a little. And then the next bit is the tiniest pinch of black, okay? So do not want too much at all, you want the smallest amount. You want, again, these two little bits to be the same size again. So I'm going to cut that really small. And then probably again. And then I will place that little black dot inside the white. And then place them on above the nose. If you get them in the right spot, give them a little press down. And then any spare clay, again, away into your airtight container. Okay, so before we get onto the antlers, we're going to put that little hole in the top. So if you want to be putting this on the tree, should I say, you don't necessarily have to put this on the tree. But if you want to, we're going to do the two little marks now. So we're going to do the hole and his smile. If you want to give him a little smile, which I hope you do, just take your tool and on that tan part, just gently give him a smile. Okay. Okay, so I've given him his smile. So the hole that I was talking about, sorry, again, it's only if you want to be putting this on the tree. If you don't, ignore this a little bit, but if you are doing, you're going to need to take this tool, the one with a nice even point at the end, nice and careful. We're going to just put a little hole through the top above his eyes, not too close to the top because you don't want the hole to rip through later on. So you're just going to take the tool very gently, push it through so it comes out the other side. Okay, tidy that up a little bit. You could go back from the other side again. Don't push the tool through too much. You don't want a big, massive gaping hole at the top. You just need a little hole. Okay, so from this position, you may want to put a piece of string in there now if mum and dad's ready to go, and let it dry with that already in there. If you aren't quite ready, when we leave this to dry, the clay will fasten and it will kind of close on itself. So it would be a good idea to maybe let it dry with something through that hole, okay? But it should be okay. Even if you don't, it should be okay. You will probably still be able to get a little hole through there if it does close up completely. Okay, so finally onto those antlers, okay? So the antlers, nice and simple. We're gonna take some dark brown and we're gonna add some black to it. So that first brown that we mixed, we're going to take 0.4 grams of that. So back to your scales and get 0.40 grams. Okay, so any spare clay that you've got, you'll be able to use. So I've got a little left over. You can use that for decoration and stuff at the end. This 0.4, we're going to just add a little bit of black to it. Now, it's going to darken it up quite a bit, but we want to add very slowly. So we're going to start off with just a 0.5 centimeter ball. So go back to your creator card, roll a little black 0.5 centimeter, and then we'll add that together. So mix those together, and it should darken that up really nice, okay? Now, if you've done a really small and you've not added in, it's not really changed much, add a touch more. You just don't want to add too much too quickly because then you'll basically have black antlers. We're just looking for a really dark brown. And you can tell by once you've mixed it, you put it next to it, if it doesn't really change colour much, maybe add a tiny pinch more, okay? And then mix it through. Lid on. Now the antlers, there's two antlers obviously, measured out firstly before we put the little side parts in. I'll measure it out at 0.20, so 0.2 twice, so 0.20, and if this is just under 0.20, that will be fine. If it's a little bit over, I'd probably take a little off. If it's just under, it will be fine. Okay, should have a little bit spare, just put that to the side for the time being. So with the antlers, back to that starting position if you can, a nice smooth round ball. And what we're going to do with these, we're going to just roll these out a little bit. Okay, they don't need to be shaped really, just kind of straight up. So all we're going to do is roll them out into a little sausage. Now, if you want to use your ruler on the back of your creator card to make sure that they're both pretty much the same, once you've rolled, we're going to press down and flatten them. So I've rolled this out. I say I want them both to be the same. So make sure when you're rolling, you you've kind of got them nice and even all the way along. Okay, so I've rolled this out to 3 centimeters. Make sure they're both the same, both 3 centimeters. Now what we're going to do, we're going to press down and flatten them slightly, which will make them a touch longer, obviously. So I've pressed down. I'm going to do the same with the other one. Nice and careful. And they will be about the same size. Okay, as long as they're pretty close, that's what we need. Okay, so the final thing is the little detail on the top. So if you can see on the original antlers, oops, could be a little spice. So what we're going to do, take this last little bit of brown clay, and you basically just need 4 little strips. So this final little bit, roll out nice and thin, so probably thinner than we did with the antlers. So roll it out nice and even, nice and thin all the way along. Once you've got it quite a bit thin now, you can use your tool to cut that into 4 strips. So nice and even all the way along. Okay, so this is basically rolled out now to just over 6 centimeters. Okay, so nice and even. That's where we're at. Again, yours may be slightly different depending on how much clay you've got left. So like I say, all I'm going to do, I'm going to cut off little strips that are roughly about the same. So I need 4 of them. There may even be a little spare. So just roughly, and then all we're going to do is place 2 of them under the back of, so basically pick up the antler and press it down on the back of each one. So if you can see, as I place them down, place those ones down, and I'm going to just place the antler over the top, press it down slightly. Okay, same with the other one. And press the antler down. So you now have 2 little antlers. And then obviously just place them at the back of the head. Make sure you don't cover the hole or put them in the hole at the back there. And that is our Rudolph all finished. Again, remember when drying to try and keep an eye on that hole. If you need to make sure there's something in there, please do so. Okay, so on to free play time. Add to the Rudolph if you want. You've got a little bit of spare clay there. Build alongside and maybe do a little extra. It's your choice. We normally use 1 gram of every colour for our free play, but again you may choose just to use a couple, so 5 grams in total. If you are running low on clay, please head over to claycreators.com/shop to place an order. And other than that, thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.